And it did recover the old one. That's the one nice thing about Zoom, is that it will recover crashes. All righty, so we're still working on our port scanner. And lastly, we had looked up what the future class did, which is allow us to create a schedulable thread that runs and then can return a value. And I seem to have a compilation error now that wasn't there before. I wonder why. Build failed. Missing return statement. Oh, okay, so just lost the last change to my code here. All right. So once you have a returnable task, if you type ret dot, you can cancel the task, you can get the results, you can tell it to wait for a specific amount of time. It might time out before it gets the results. This would otherwise just hang forever waiting for it to get, or you could check to see if it's canceled or if it's done. Now, honestly, to do this, I thought I was going to have to make an array list of results so that I could go and check them. And instead, the examples I was looking at used just a plain old list. And I'm not going to go and Google up the difference between array list and regular list right now. I'm paranoid about another crash. So, anybody who's typing along with this like Linda usually does, is this still in a working state, or do I need to send you this file?
It's
Mine
successfully.
All right, for some reason I can't hear. Let me crank up my volume. Please repeat.
It still builds successfully and runs for me.
Okay, cool deal. Now let's see what this is offering to do.
Mine is not.
All right, you want me to send this to you as a file so that you can play with it?
Well, I don't know what's going on here. My call hasn't turned bold.
Yeah, let me create a text file and send it to you. Or see if I could save this as a... Look at us being all clever and stuff and using this remote technology. All righty, where's Zoom? 20 million little icons here. Where is it? There he is. All righty. All right, it should be there if you want to open it up. Compare it to yours. Or why don't you share your screen? Let's do that. So I'm going to stop sharing so that you can. If you don't mind. If you don't want to, that's cool. All right, so what do we have here? It doesn't like the call method. Move your mouse over that error to see what it is. Cannot find symbol. Test socket. I bet it's a lowercase s. You'd have to scroll down below main to see your method to see how you declared it. Yep. Oh, that's the other way you can fix it. Now we're going to replace that for loop so you don't have to fix it there. All right, what's that one saying? Cannot infer type arguments for callable. Reason, call with anonymous inner cases is not supported in source. Use source 9. I don't know. Open up here. I'm going to open up mine and compare it to yours. Why don't you go ahead and copy from the text file and replace all your stuff unless you have individual notes you took that you don't want to erase, and see if it magically makes it go away. It lost my return statement yet again. I don't know what's going on there. So looking at yours versus mine, task equals new callable. I don't know, maybe you have a different version of NetBeans than I do, but I wouldn't think that'd be the case. No, your code looks exactly like mine. Did you do the copy paste yet? So we absolutely know. Well, I don't know how to fix it, and I'm sorry. I don't see a difference between what you have here. It doesn't like the fact that we made an anonymous object there. We could probably fix that. What does test socket return? It returns a future Boolean. So if we wanted to make that its own method, public static future Boolean, call it. Tell you what, and it's going to need to take the same things. It's going to have all of these ports, all of these bits of information. And to get it to compile, I'm just going to make it return false at this point. No, that won't work. Return null. Probably won't work either. Okay. Now it's compiling. So I ought to be able to take that and cut it out and paste it here. Except it's not an add override anymore. That means that I'm taking off in the wrong direction entirely. I'm sorry, Troy. I think we're just going to have to bail on this. I don't know why it's not working for you. And you can't see all the changes I'm making anyways. I'm gonna take control, okay? All right. All right, can you see my screen now?
I can.
Okay, cool deal. What?
All right. Yep. So callable just doesn't work for me. I copy pasted everything.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if we could compare versions of Java that were installed or what, but let's just stop. Let's not do that. Okay. All righty, back to the lecture. We have it halfway there. We have it 3/4 of the way there. I don't know why PowerPoint won't exit there. That's surpassing strange. If we look at this, it looks like we have to have a class that implements, that is callable an interface, or is it a class This anonymous interclass creation can be turned into a lambda expression. Now, I've absolutely have never understood lambda expressions. But if you feel like it, Troy, you might want to type it in like this and see if it makes the error go away. What this will do is it's setting up a loop. No, it's not. That's not a loop. I don't understand lambda yet. I hate to admit. No, I'm always willing to admit the limits of my knowledge. And in this particular case, I do not understand it at all. But it doesn't look like it's creating an anonymous class. So maybe it'll work. And don't worry, gang, we're 95% of the way towards getting this version of it to work.
All right.
as well.
That did it.
That did it? All righty. Okay. So this uses strange lambda magic. I'm going to copy that and I'm going to undo the changes that I did so that it looks the other way. But it's actually so much cleaner. I'm going to leave it that way. I should learn this so that I can explain it. Let's pretend that that's exactly what we meant to do. Yeah, that's how we meant it to be, always. All righty. So, you know the way that some folks do these things is that they would probably have created this particular object right inside this function call in a line that wrapped around 2 or 3 times, and I'm not going to do that. Okay, so we have a for loop down here in main. We've got to change it up. So in main, I'm just going to erase the for loop. We don't need it. Or I guess I could comment it out. We're going to need the executor service. So final executor service equals executors with a dot, and it's complaining about this stuff. Probably because I can't spell. Let's, and I didn't give it a variable name, did I? So let's call it ES. Final executor service ES equals executors dot new fixed thread pool. And we want to allow a maximum of 20 threads running at the same time. And that's still wrong. Am I misspelling it right? Wrong? Yeah, I am, because
Needs an O.
Oh, yep. Yeah, already. Thanks. And we need a list to hold the results. So final list with a capital L. And what is it a list of? It's a list of future Booleans. Future Boolean. And we're just going to call it futures. I think I'd rather call it results or something, but my code example that I created earlier today called it futures. Oh, and then we just turn it around and make it an array list. So final, no, it better not be an array final, because we're going to be appending things to it. And anyways, we're not declaring it. Futures is equal to array list that. And when we're done with this, I want to change list to array list, because that's what we normally do. What are you complaining about? Add an import for java.util.ArrayList. I thought I had java.util.asterisk, but what? It is really fighting with me. 1 angle, 2 angle, 1 angle, 0 angles. What do I have wrong with this index? Huh? It keeps asking me to add the import for java.util.arraylist. And when I do, it doesn't come up here and do anything. And I swear that I had this code working earlier, letter for letter to what I have typed now. This is turning into a grumbly thing. I'm going to start grumbling.
Is it an improper declaration?
Well, like I said, it's line for line what I had in my other one. Let me go and grab my other one. Copy those first 5 lines. Come back in here. Oh, come on. We have to be able to spot the difference.
I final list instead of array list?
Well, that's what I had originally, and then I changed it to final list because I got frustrated. Now I'm getting these out the wild. Okay, all right, that's why. Well, I've messed it up, but it compiles. I swear that's what I had typed. I don't see a bit of difference. Lindy, you're usually typing along. Does that look like what we had? I give up. I don't know what the deal is. All right, that was a heroic effort.
We forgot the new keyword in the futures equals new.
Is that it? We didn't have the new keyword?
At least I didn't, and
Well,
mine works now. So
I probably didn't either. Okay, great. All righty. Oh, that's annoying. Okay, so now we have a for loop and we're going to create 65,000 different threads. So we don't need this port variable up here anymore because we're going to define it as the variable in our for loop. For int port equals 1 semicolon port less than equal 65535 semicolon port plus plus. Let's create our port and then add it to our list. So future Boolean FB equals new. No, it's not that. We're going to call our pscanner.port is open function. So what did we call that? Port is open. Okay. So port is open. And we need to pass in our executor service. I wonder if we should just have made that a member of the entire class. Right, you know, a class member. But anyways. All right, so ES comma IP, because these are the, and then the port and then the timeout. So we're just saying, we want you at some time in the future to call this, and let's add it to our list. So list.append or .add, sorry, futures.add that. And the executive service is going to be running these 20 at a time, 20 threads simultaneously doing all this stuff. And then we're going to need to check the results. Although it's running, right? And it's printing out messages as we go. So we don't even really need to check the results. Let's just go ahead and run it and watch it run. And then we're going to call executive service shutdown if it ever gets this far, which is probably not going to do, but let's go ahead and call executive service shutdown. And then the rest of this code that I have here is just to print out the number of open ports. And we're running out of time. I'm not sure we're going to do that. I just want to watch it run and print some port OK messages. See, and there it goes. It's trying to contact rows and check all those ports. I wonder if there's some other server out there that would be more intriguing to access. Why don't we check my own machine at 127.0.0.1? And Lindy and Troy, I'd be curious about your results as well if you do that. So I'm going to change my host to 127.0.0.1. Give it a shot. And since it's printing out so many error messages, I never see the successful connection. So I'm going to comment out the error messages. So I need to find that right down here inside test socket. If we get an exception, I'm just going to not do anything, right? And surely my machine has at least one socket open. All right, I'm going to change it back to rows to make sure that it's still working, right? Because it was at least displaying a couple of things. So come back up here to Rose's, and I've forgotten what Rose's IP address was. It certainly went a lot more quickly than it did last time, didn't it? So Rose has a server called owa.rose.edu, which is the Outlook server. Let's point it to that. So I'm going to ping rose.edu. Here's its IP address. It's more different than I thought it was. I thought it was going to be the same except for the last digit. Significantly different. All right. Oh, coming out the other one. And cancel it and run it. Well, port 80 again, 443 again. I guess that makes sense because it has to be able to serve web pages up. Ah, well. I was hoping we'd turn up some others. Did y'all run it on 127.0.0.1 and get anything open? Because I know Windows often has some ports open.
Yeah, mine's running right now and it's coming up with stuff. But
Okay.
I've purposely forwarded ports before.
Oh, okay. If you don't mind, I'm going to stop sharing so that you can let us see your results.
Sure.
Okay.
Still going.
Yeah, see, that's cool.
Maybe it'll spit out another.
So 135 and 445 and 554. Let's look up what those ports are. What's 135? That's DCOM. So yeah, that's a Windows service for creating distributed component objects.
And a lot of these are probably ports I forwarded for games or something.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
And 445. So we could make this, right, have a case statement so that it'll print out, a cute name for the port. And so let's see. Port 445 is part of SMB so that you could serve your Windows machine as a drive server so that if you went over your other machine, you can map a drive letter to it. That's what SMB is for. Anyways, well, that's cool. I'm glad to see it running. Ooh, that's a high number. Let's find out what 10243 does. I'm going to Google that.
That's definitely a game.
Yeah, I don't even know what that one is. It's not listed.
I probably put it in myself.
Right. So you created a port number for that. Okay, that's cool. Anyways, neat. It's working. I hope this was fun to do. We learned a little bit as well, I hope. I hope we got the idea of creating groups of threads to go and do stuff. Even if you couldn't just close your eyes and recreate it right off the top of your head, you know that it's possible. And if you wanted to remember some key phrases, you would want to remember the word future and executor service, right? Those are the two that you'd want to remember so that if you ever have a task like this, where you have a whole heck of a bunch of tasks you want to, have processed and then come back to you at a future point, then you could. Oh, hey, I got some on my own machine now. I'm going to take command again. Where's Zoom? All right, so these were the ones that are open on my machine. 6783. Oh, that's TCP UDP. Not actually sure what that does. I'm not enough of a network guru. How about
some random program using it?
Yeah. So let's check out 15292. If I pop open a command window using Windows, then I can type in netstat and it may show a list of open ports. It's so trippy to me to be able to run these Windows apps and the Mac apps side by side and actually have it run stably. Technology is a miracle, except when you're running Zoom and it crashes.
Zoom is not a miracle.
There we go. Did you have to do that at that point? Yeah, I guess you probably did. Thanks. Well, I'll make the Dropbox soon. I just wanted to show you netstat. So if Windows ever boots, I guess I could be making the Dropbox while we wait for that to happen. You there? Nope. Thanks.
Awesome. Zoom broke all my arrow extensions. And crashed itself.
Nah.
So now I can't see the window. Oh, I never submitted lecture W.
I'm even remembering to mark the submissions as available anymore. If you remember, I had a couple semesters where I had struggles with that. All right, there's the Lecture Z. Let's see if the Windows desktop is actually finished. Okay, so I'm going to launch a command prompt, and I'm going to type netstat. And here's a list of all the port activity that's happening. Now, it's not ports that are necessarily open on my machine, because a lot of these are, ports that are open on other machines. And my thing, well, I guess my side has to have ports that are talking to them, but that doesn't mean that they're open waiting, right? Because these are outbound connections. But I'm talking to these ports on other machines, so I don't know how to find the port number on the remote machine that it's talking to. Anyways, so yeah, how come we don't get to see the port number on the remote machines unless it's that? -A displays all connection and listening ports. Displays address and port numbers in numerical form. Let's try that. Netstat -N. Yeah, there we go. There we go. I'm gonna make my font larger. There we go. So I have port stuff on my Windows and Mac has port 80 open, 443 open. We know what those are.
I turned in lecture Z and Canvas threw up a bunch of confetti.
Okay, great.
It scared
I
me.
thought that too.
So
That was supposed to happen, right?
no, that's weird.
That's
I want to
new.
see that. I'm going to simulate being a student because I want to see. I guess I could stop the recording now. We're about done.